Hello, flower friends, new members of EveryStem. I want to show you today how we are going to build recipes, create events, and create bulk orders in the system. So today we are going to use an example from a fictitious flower company called Waterloo Floral Design. And we are going to go ahead and follow this invoice and build recipes for itemized designs first, and then we'll go ahead and do the bulk order. And we have several designs we're going to build here. We have a spring bouquet, we have a spring boutonniere, we have a welcome table arrangement, we have 5 centerpieces, we have a ceiling installation, and that's it. So this is a small order. The total wedding is $3,400 and change. It is not going to be huge, but it is going to be enough to give you an example of how to build recipes in our system. And then what we're going to do is going to go ahead and order all these flowers as a bulk order. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and add a new event. Click on that Add Event button. We're going to give this a name. So this is Olivia James. That's our client. I like to use the client's name and then whatever it is. So she is having a wedding. We're going to go ahead and put wedding. Then we're going to put in a description. So I'm just going to put spring, and then I'm going to put garden mix. This client was not that particular, and so she is going to let me decide what I want to put in these arrangements. And then I'm going to note that this is going to have a ceiling installation because that's important to me. I want to know that the ceiling installation is happening, and I want to be able to come back to this if I have another client who wants to create a ceiling installation similar, and then I can just copy this event and have a starting point for a ceiling install. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. I also do like to put the location of the wedding or the event or whatever, as many descriptive items as I can put in there, because I might remember that I did this ceiling installation at the prospect house. I might not remember the client's name. So I'm going to go ahead and put the venue as well. I'm going to go ahead and put my date in here, May 22nd. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with that. So let's submit that. Now this event is going to show up and we're going to be able to go ahead and open it. I just click on the name of the event to open it. And now we have our layout. Our summary page is going to be blank because we don't have any items or flowers in there yet. We've got a page for personals, ceremony, reception, and other. These are the pages of our event. We can change these, we can rename them, we can delete them. So basically for this event, we're only going to have a couple of personals and we're going to have the ceiling installation. So what I want to do is just make this one page. I don't need multiple pages for this event. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of some of these additional pages. Edit page and just remove that page. All my buttons for creating items, editing pages, adding columns. These rows here, cocktails is one column, head table is another column, are all the action buttons are right across the top of the screen. So we're going to go ahead and just get rid of a few of these pages that we don't need. By doing this, I can create a template that does have all the information that I need for some of these simple weddings that I do. So basically right now, I'm not only working on this event, but I'm actually also creating a template that I'm going to use, which is great. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone in this. So this is not going to be personals. I'm going to go ahead and just change the name of this page. I'm going to call it wedding. And maybe even I'll call it simple wedding. And that way, I know that this is just a simple wedding layout. I can go ahead and adjust the columns. So I have my one page, and what I need is a bouquet. And I'm going to put that it's $250. I like to put the price in there at the top. If you have multiple items, then you'll see you'll have the price for one at the top and the price for all of them at the bottom. We've got a boutonniere, and that's at $18. You can put the dollar symbol in front, so that way you've got, you know that that's a price and not just a number. Obviously, we're not going to do 250 bouquets, but we're going to do 1 bouquet. That's what that quantity number here is at the top. Quantity 1, a $250 bouquet. Quantity 1, an $18 boutonniere. So we've got a welcome table arrangement and centerpieces. So let's go ahead and do the welcome table. That's at 200. We're going to do the centerpieces, 200 each. So I like to put an EA there. And then we're going to have our ceiling installation, and that's at 1,000. Now those are all of the columns we need. Those are all of the items that we are selling to our client. So this other column, I don't need this. I can either leave it there, or I can just simply click on the name of the column, and then I can click remove and confirm it. And now you'll see that that is gone. So once we've gotten this laid out the way we want it, we can stop here. And we can actually save this as a template by just going back to the dashboard, making a copy of it. Now we can save this one. We're going to have two exactly the same. And we can go into one of them and we can edit it. We can change the event details, and we can change this to simple wedding template. I have basically the layout. I can get rid of all these details. And that way, when I close this, and I go ahead and go back to my dashboard, now I have my simple wedding template, 4x primary, 2.5x secondary markup, and I also have my Olivia James wedding. So by saving one as a template at the point to where you have the headers, the pages, the columns, and some of the information set the way you like it for a certain event, a certain venue, a certain type of order, then you can go ahead and save it at that point. Make a copy of it using this little awesome copy feature button right here. And once you copy it, now you can actually use it for your events. So we're going to go ahead and go into the one that we saved as the Olivia James wedding. Go to our simple wedding tab. Now we've got our bouquet at $250. Our quoted price is the price we are charging the client. So we're going to put $250 right there. An $18 boutonniere, we're going to put $18. Our welcome table is $200. We're going to put that. Now we're getting to the centerpieces. We are not selling one centerpiece. We are selling 5 centerpieces. So that is where this is going to change at the top. Quantity 5. So we have 5 centerpieces. They're $200 each. And that is a total of $1,000. So in my quoted price, I am going to put the total price for all 5 centerpieces. And I am going to be able to order for all 5 centerpieces at one time. I'll show you how that works. It's pretty cool, and I think you're going to like it. Then we've got our ceiling installation, and this vertical column is going to represent the recipe for that, and that is going to be $1,000. So I'm going to put my $1,000 right there. Now, once we've got this set up the way we want to have our orders laid out, we're going to go ahead and start adding flowers. So one of the nice things about EveryStem is that as you create new items, you can easily do it as you're building your orders. So if you don't have any items that you've created yet, you haven't created any flowers or any hard goods items, you can go ahead and get started with an event. You do not have to go to the flower library, which is where your items are stored, to start creating items. If you want to start creating items in your library, you can do that. You can sit down, take your last 5 or 10 invoices from your wholesalers and your flower growers. You can click over to that library and you can go ahead and start adding them in a data entry sort of way. But if you have orders that you need to order for, if you have events coming up, holidays like Mother's Day, you can just start creating your items right here. I obviously have a few items already created in my system. So once I created an item, I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Item. If you need help creating items, go check out the How to Create an Item and How to Edit an Item tutorial in our YouTube channel or on our help page. We're going to go ahead and find some items here for this wedding. This is a simple garden mix. I have some pink flowers that I'm going to use for this wedding. So I'm going to go ahead and go down and add some astilbe, and I am going to add some freesia, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some hydrangea. Now if I click the add button, it is only going to add this item to the page that I am currently working on. Now, right now in this event, I only have one page, the simple wedding page. But if I had created a second page and put my ceiling installation on that page, I would either want to click Add just to add that one flower to the current page I'm working on, or I could click Add All, and that option will add that flower to all the pages. We're going to go ahead and add some greenery, silver dollar U, and then we're going to go ahead and add a hard good item, a 6-inch cylinder vase, because that's what we're going to use for our centerpieces and our welcome table. So as you can see here, now that I'm looking at HG, 6-inch cylinder vase, if I use HG at the beginning of the name of all of my hard good items, then when I put in the letters HG into the search box at the top of my add item modal, I will see all of my hard goods showing up on my list. So that's a trick. So as you're building out your items, you can really think about how you want them to be categorized. And if you want all your greenery together, use the word greenery, then comma, magnolia, comma, extra long, or hard goods, HG, comma, and then the name of whatever vase, container, or hard good item you're using. You're going to see here that it has a secondary markup. So these items are going to be marked up 2.5 times, while my flowers are going to be marked up 4 times. That is because in my profile, I have set my markups. Secondary markup is got a green checkbox, so you're going to know that that is how that's priced. If I needed to change that, I could edit the item and change that to the primary markup and vice versa. So we're going to go ahead and add this item, and you'll see here the ones that do not have a checkbox are primary markup. The ones that do have a checkbox are secondary markup. If I wanted to edit that or any other information on my flower, click on the item. Then I could change the markup. I could change the price. If they couldn't get silver dollar, I would not have to delete this out of my event. I could just change the name to whatever they could get me. If they can't get me silver dollar, but they can get me seated, then I could go ahead and change that, and it would change that throughout the entire event. That you can do a lot with editing the items. So we're going to go ahead and just close that. And I'm going to go ahead and do the compact display checkbox. That is going to allow me to see my entire recipe. So now I want my flowers together and my hard goods together. So what I'm going to do is rearrange the order of the way this is on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and just click on my cylinder vase, and I'm going to go ahead and drag it up and put it at the top. This is going to remind me to start with my hard goods and my supplies so I don't forget to include those. Now, for my bouquet, I know I have $250 quoted price. I want to include some supplies. I am not going to include these as items. I'm not going to add an item called tape or rubber band. So that's what this line item is right here, supplies at retail value. I know that I'm going to do a little ginger jar for transportation. That's $2 at my cost. I'm going to give her an inexpensive ivory ribbon. She doesn't really have a particular expensive ribbon that she cares for, so I'm just going to use a Mayart's inexpensive ribbon, and that's going to be another $2. And then I'm going to go ahead and say $1 for pins and rubber band. So that's $5 worth of supplies. So I'm going to go ahead at retail value. I'm marking my supplies up times 2 here. I'm just going to put in $10. If you want to mark your supplies up, 2.5 times, that's totally fine. Whatever your markup is, make sure you enter your supplies here at the retail value. Then we're going to go ahead and start with our recipe. We are not going to use the cylinder vase in this bouquet. I've put a little transportation vase in the cost of my supplies. So what I can do is go ahead and click on my event details. I can be on the simple wedding page, and I can note bouquet, $10 in supplies. And what I need for that, I need 2 rubber bands, 1 ginger jar for transport, and 1 yard of ivory ribbon. That's what's going to be included in my supplies. Now when I click close, you're going to see that down at the bottom of the screen, I have noted what my supplies need to be based on that $10. You can easily look back and say, oh, that $10 in supplies is correlating to these things that I need to pull. If you had a picture on Pinterest, and I don't have an exact Pinterest link here, but what you could also do is say inspo picture, and then you could have the URL. I'm just going to do pinterest.com for now because I don't pull an actual picture, but you'll see here now that this link is clickable. So now I can actually click on this and open it up and see the image that I want to use as inspiration. And if I have a freelancer who's going to make this for me, when I send them the PDF with all the recipes and make sure that I include the notes, then they will be able to click on that from the PDF and see the inspiration image as well. So I can get very specific if I want to communicate with my freelancers or my employees or my team, or just remind myself of the things that I need to do. So this notes feature is very helpful, and it is accessible from the event details button. When you export, you're going to include the notes. We do have a whole tutorial on exporting, so there are several options on how to export different reports, so make sure you watch that one as well. Now we're going to go ahead and get this bouquet. We don't need a cylinder vase. We're going to do half a bunch of silver dollar. We're going to do 5 freesia. We're going to put in 10 astilbe, and we're going to go ahead and put in 5 hydrangeas. And once we do that, you'll see $250 quoted price. We have $197.20 retail value, but our difference is still $52.80 because I want to turn on my labor fee, 30% labor fee that I want to include for my time to be building these designs. I want that included in the price of my design. If you are a designer who does not include that and you put it on your invoice as a separate line item and you do not include it, you can leave this grayed out and it will not include a labor fee. But if you are a designer who likes to use the labor fee, go ahead and enable it, and using that edit labor fee button at the top, and now you'll see that they are all turned on. So with my labor fee, I'm just $3 over budget. So I was able to, because I've been doing this a very long time, I was able to just pop in the numbers that I knew would get me pretty close to my quoted price. If you use EveryStem regularly, you will be able to do this too. You will be able to just kind of start to get a really good feel for what a recipe is going to cost and how many flowers you can put into a recipe. So 0.5 is a little bit like a lot of greenery. I'm going to go ahead and just put 0.4 because I know I'm going to use 0.1 over here in my boutonniere. So let's go ahead and just take that down. My quoted price is $250. That's the price I entered to charge my client. And the retail value, the system is calculating. The system is saying all of the wholesale price of these flowers costs $45.81 based on the information we entered when we created the items. Our labor fee of 30% has been included. Our $10 worth of supplies at retail value is included. And so the value of this bouquet at my 4 times markup for my primary items is a total of $248.21. I feel good about that. Let's move on to the next item, our boutonniere. We need a little bit of greenery. Let's go ahead and go back to 1 freesia. I was getting a little excited there. And then I'm going to put $4 at retail value for a little box and some ribbon. Now, when I get to my welcome table, it's $200. But I want to include my 6-inch cylinder vase. Now you'll see at cost, it's $4. If I turn off my labor for a second, you're going to see that it's taking that $4 and it's multiplying it times 2.5. It is my secondary markup. So if I have an item that's under this secondary markup, it's going to go ahead and do the math based on that. I'm going to go ahead and turn the labor fee on. Now you'll see that it's $13. I'm going to go ahead and add some silver dollar. Now you'll see that my silver dollar, I am ordering it in fractions of a bunch, decimals of a bunch. And we do send you a nice PDF guide on how you can do this when you first join. So go back to your welcome email, take a look in there, or go to the quick start guide on our website and go ahead and download that PDF. It's going to tell you that, 0.1, like we did here in the boutonniere, is 1/10 of a bunch. 0.5 is half of a bunch. It has a bunch of examples there so that you can use that to make it simple for you. I'm going to arrange it with just a tape grid on top. So we'll go ahead and put $1 in there for a little bit of waterproof Oasis tape. Let's see. I'm going to start with my hydrangeas on this one because I want to put 7 hydrangeas, and then I want to put 5 astilbe, and now I only have $1.92 left. So I'm going to go ahead and back it down to 5 hydrangeas, and then I'm going to go ahead and see if I can put in 6 freesia. Nope, I can only put in 4. Now, I have this recipe laid out down to almost the exact amount because this order is coming up soon. This is actually an order that I've already done the invoice for. As you could see, I had my Waterloo floral design invoice, so I met with this client, I did the invoice, and she's been booked for a while. So I'm doing this really closely on the money. But if this was a proposal, if this was an event that I was planning to do a year from now, I would want to make sure that I had a little bit more of a difference here, because I would want to make sure that as prices change, as prices go up, that I have some flexibility. So if this was an order that I was just pricing out, I might tell the client that this needs to be $225 if the wedding was going to be a year from now or 8 months from now. So make sure that when you're doing proposals, you're leaving a little bit of wiggle room on these recipes so that you don't lock into a price that might go up in the future. You want to have some flexibility there. Then, when it's time to actually do the order and finalize everything about a month before the wedding, that's when you're going to come in and then start to fine tune it. So if this was $225, I could come back in and add a few more flowers. I could come back in and edit my flower. If freesia wasn't available, I could just change the name of this flower to sweet pea. And then I could change the price, and it would change all my recipes showing that it's sweet pea instead of freesia. So you don't have to delete all the freesia out and then go in and add another row for sweet pea. You can just edit the name right here, and it will sub out that flower. If you have any questions about that, please email me. You want to have this recipe cover all your costs, allow for a healthy profit, but you also want to make sure that you have enough flowers in this design that it's going to look like a $200 arrangement and your client is going to be happy with it. So we're finding a happy balance between profit and perceived value of our designs and making sure we're filling them out beautifully. Now, this is a simple example, so don't take this too literally. Freesia, astilbe, and hydrangeas, I would probably add other flowers into a real arrangement, but for now, this is what we're working with. Now, when you're getting through your recipes, you can take a look at your profit summary, and you can see how much money you are making on your designs. And right now, it is very high. We are making 96% profit margin because we don't have any flowers in our centerpieces or our ceiling install. So let's just kind of keep an eye on this, and you'll see it change as we start to fill in the centerpiece column and the ceiling installation column. But you can see how much your cost is, how much your extras cost. And if you have a question about what are your extras, take a look at the how to understand your profit summary tutorial. All right, let's get back to the designs and the recipe building. We're going to go ahead and we've got our 5 centerpieces. So we have quantity 5 already at the top. We know they're 200 each because we went ahead and adjusted that in our column name. And we went ahead and put $1,000 at the bottom. We are putting the amount for the entire project. So if you have a 5 at the top, you need the price in the quoted price box to be the price for all 5. If you had 3 up here and you had 3 designs, then you would put the price for all 3 down here in the quoted price box. And then in the supplies at retail value, you're going to go ahead and put the supplies for all of the designs. So if we have 5 centerpieces, we're going to use $1 worth of tape for each one. We're going to go ahead and put $5 in here. So let's say the tape was 50 cents. I'm marking it up times 2. I'm going to put $5 in here because it's for all 5 centerpieces. And now the magic of this is that I can go ahead and put my designs for 1 centerpiece down the left. It's going to multiply it out down the right hand side, and then it's going to add it all up for me all at once. So I do not have to think about how many I need for all 5 centerpieces. What I'm thinking about on this left hand side of the recipe is how many I need for 1 centerpiece, and then it's going to multiply it out to the right. So I know I need 1 vase for each centerpiece. And now you'll see over here that it has a 5 off to the right. It is automatically saying, oh, you told me you need 1. You told me you're making 5 centerpieces. 1 times 5 is 5. So it is doing that math for you. For the greenery, let's say we want to do a half a bunch of eucalyptus in each recipe. So each centerpiece is going to get half of a bunch, and we're going to go ahead and see that that is then going to multiply out to a total of 2.5 bunches of eucalyptus for the entire 5 centerpieces. For all 5 centerpieces, we're doing 2.5 bunches. Now on the freesia, we need 4, and we're going to get 20 total. 4 times 5 is 20. We need 5 astilbe, and we're going to go ahead and do the 5 hydrangeas. We're just going to make this match the welcome arrangement because that we know that that recipe worked. And we could see here we are off only by 24 cents. This is right on the money. This is going to make our client very happy. This is going to make us happy when we go to do the production because we know that we can work with these flowers. Next, ceiling installation. This is a $1,000 ceiling installation, and we do need some supplies here. And so it is up to me. If I want to create an item that is like ceiling grid, I could go ahead and do that. So I could search, and I don't see anything for ceiling grid. So I'm going to go ahead and call it hard good, comma, ceiling grid, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in as supplies. Now, if it's something I needed to order from Accent Decor, I could put it under Accent Decor, and then it would print that out when I go to export, and I would know, oh, I got to get that from Accent Decor. But if it's something I already own that's in my storage unit or in my garage or in the back of my shop, if I call it supplies, all of the items that I list under my vendor name of supplies will then show up under that list. So it's just like having your flower vendors separated out. Your supply vendor is going to be separated out as well. We're going to put the price in here. Now this item cost me $50 when I purchased it. So I'm going to put my cost at $50. I'm going to switch my markup to secondary, and then I'm going to leave it as stem. There is some flower verbiage here, but it's just a 1 item, 1 stem, and then 1 stem per pack. We're just going to say 1 and 1 on all the hard goods. And we're going to click Save to Library. If you have a question about clicking Save to Library, just click on that little hint bubble. We want to always click Save to Library. You might think that when you click Save to Event, it's going to save it in this event. It is, but then it is not going to save it to the library. So just go ahead and click Save to Library for everything, because that way all your items that you're creating are going to be saved to your library and you can use them again in the future. It will save it, and then you can close the box. Now we're going to go ahead and add that item. So we're going to search, start typing ceiling grid, and we're going to add it just to this one page. If we had multiple pages, we wouldn't want to add this to other pages because we're only using it for this one recipe. So now I wanted all my items up at the top that were hard goods, so I'm going to go ahead and put this at the very top so that I have my 1 ceiling grid item. Now on this one, I'm going to have 3 people working on this ceiling installation. I need 1 person that is actually adding the flowers to the ceiling. I need 1 person that is actually handing the flowers over up the ladder to the person who's adding the flowers in the ceiling. And the 3rd person is going to be me. I'm going to be at the ground level watching and telling the person up at the top where I need the flowers to go. Because when they're on the top of a ladder, they cannot have the perspective that I have from the ground, which is where the guests are going to be viewing this installation. So I'm going to change this to a 50% labor. I'm including that in the price of my design. I'm raising that up. So you can adjust these numbers to see how much cost you need, but we're going to go ahead and make that a 50% labor fee. You can have some columns turned on and some columns turned off. It's totally up to you. Now, for our ceiling installation, they want this to be really light and airy, and so we're just going to do a lot of astilbe. We're going to hang tons of astilbe from the ceiling. It's going to be beautiful. They're going to be different lengths. And so what I really need to know is, besides my ceiling grid, do I need some money for supplies? This is what I always think about, my hard goods first and my supplies. So for my supplies, I think I'm going to need $25 worth of wire to hang all these astilbes onto my ceiling grid. So I'm going to put $50 here, because I like to do a 2 times markup on those supplies. And then I'm going to go ahead and see how much astilbe I can put in. So let's say I want to do 50 stems of astilbe. Oh, I can even do a little bit more. I still have a little wiggle room. Pretty close. $2.72. If I do 67 stems of beautiful blush astilbe hanging from the ceiling, it's going to be fantastic. Now, if I didn't know how much I wanted to charge, I could leave this blank, and the system will just automatically tell me. It will default to the retail price if you don't put a quoted price in this box. You can see that it's grayed out and it matches the retail price. So if you do not enter your quoted price, the price you want to charge your client, it is going to default to the retail price. That's important for you to know. Now, when we put our quoted price in, so you always want that quoted price to be a little bit more than your retail price. You want to have a little bit of a wiggle room there. Now, when we take a look at our profit summary, we are doing really well. We've got our costs, we've got our quoted price and our retail, and we are making an 80% profit margin on flowers. That's because we're using a 4 times markup on our flowers, and we are using a 2.5 times markup on our hard goods. This is great. I am going to make my client very happy, and I am going to make almost $2,000 in profit on the flowers and hard goods for this wedding. That's great. I'm satisfied with this. I can also go over and take a look at my summary page. Now is where I want to take a look at my extras so that I can fine-tune my order and make it even more accurate. This summary page shows you the total of the number of stems that you're ordering. It rolls up all your recipes. Say they wanted a brunch after. We could add the brunch page, and now you're going to see over here that we have brunch, but it's 0 because we don't have any flowers in there yet. We haven't created any recipes yet. But it will take all the pages, total up the number of flowers that you're using in every recipe on each page, and give you the total. 30 pink freesia in my simple wedding page. So for all my recipes, my bouquet, my boutonniere, my centerpieces, my ceiling install, and my welcome table, all totaled 30 freesia is what I need. And I'm going to order 30 because they come in bunches of 10. So I am not going to have a single extra freesia. You see here what my extras are. So I'm only going to have 3 extra astilbe, and I'm going to have 5 extra hydrangeas. In my case, I'm ordering those in bunches of 10. So just know that you want to look down this column of extras and you want to kind of minimize it, but you want to have enough to where if your flowers are delicate, or it's January and they might freeze, or it's July and they might be a little extra wilty. If you need some extra flowers here and your profit margin is at 80%, which is really a healthy profit margin, you could go in and add a few more flowers, and that way you could make sure you had enough extras. In this case, I'm feeling great. I've got some extra hydrangea, I've got a couple extra astilbe, and a bunch of greenery. And I feel really good about making sure that this client is going to be happy. So in this case, we're just going to go ahead and leave it as is. Then what I could do is export this. I can choose detail. I can choose my vendor export. I can include my prices. I can include my bunch count. On my detail recipes only, this would be for my freelancers. I can include my notes so that my freelancers know what that is going to be for each supply item, and any other pictures or any other notes I wanted to share. And then I'm done. Now we're going to move on to ordering by the entire event. So I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this. We're going to go over to the dashboard, and I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this, but I'm going to call it bulk order. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open it up. And what I want to do is really quickly double check how much I need to charge on my invoice. So with my invoice, I had a subtotal of $32.18, but I was charging $750 in labor, delivery, setup, and strike. I don't want to put that money into flowers, right? I want to keep that for my actual strike team that I have to pay, my delivery people, my gas, and my vehicle maintenance and things like that. So I want to make sure that that $750 is off the top. So when we take a look at it, we got $32.18, and we're going to subtract 750, and we're going to get a total of $24.68. That's what we're actually going to charge. And if you take a look, you could see that our quote was $24.68 on our last order. So that's great. That's exactly the right amount. I'm going to go ahead and just delete this page because we're not going to do the brunch. That was just an example. I want to keep all my flowers down the left-hand side, but I don't need all these recipes. I'm going to delete these columns. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this from bouquet to wedding. This is for my entire wedding. Everything I need to order is going to be in this one column. So I'm going to go ahead and just zero these out for right now because I want y'all to see what like a clean page is going to look like. So for this entire wedding, I've got the flowers that I want to use and the items that I want to use down the left-hand side. If you're in a rush and you book a wedding and you've got 10 centerpieces that you need to do in one bouquet, this is a great way to just get it on order. Then you could break it out later and do your itemized recipes if you had to afterwards. We know that our total quoted price for all of the designs total $24.68. That's what I'm going to put here. My total for everything. Now, what I can do, I can take some out of my supplies. So I know I needed 10 for my bouquet and 4 for my boutonniere, and I was taking $1 out for each centerpiece. So let's say that's 6, because we had the 5 centerpieces and the 1 welcome table. $25 in supplies. We're just going to be safe here. And then what we're going to do is we know we need the 1 ceiling grid, and we know we need 1 cylinder vase for the welcome table, and we need 5 cylinder vases for the centerpieces. So that's a 6 count on the vases. Now, here's where you need to kind of think about what you want for your flowers. And we know the labor fee is 30%, so if we still want to see more at the bottom, we can also do hide labor fee. We know it's turned on, but it just helps us to see a little bit more. So if you had another flower or 2 here, it would help you to see. You can also do Command minus and Command plus to zoom in and out on your screen. So if you need to see more, you can zoom in and out with those functions on your browser. I use Chrome as my browser. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at what we need for the greenery. So I've got a bouquet. I need a half a bunch for that. And a boutonniere, I'll take a piece off of that. I've got a welcome table. I think I want a half a bunch for that. That's 1 full bunch. I've got 5 centerpieces. I want a half for each of those. That's 2.5 bunches. So that's 3.5 bunches. I'm going to say I need 4 bunches here just to be safe because I'm going to round up. I'm going to have to order by the bunch anyway. And for the hydrangeas, I know that I need a few in my bouquet. I've got 6 centerpieces that I want 5 in each, so that's 30. So let's say I want to order 35 hydrangeas. I wanted 67 to still be for the ceiling, but then I need some in each of my centerpieces, and I want some in my bouquet. So, let's say 85 a still be, and now I can see what's left. I have $600 left. Because I'm doing this by the bunch because I know exactly what I need. Now I'm pretty close. I'm negative $8 here, so we're going to say 55. And I'm really pretty close within the money here. I could probably add another flower here or 58 freesia, and now I'm at $8.52 difference. So I feel good about being able to do a really simple wedding or a bulk order for a holiday or a weekly order for my retail shop by just kind of knowing about how many flowers I need to order and doing a bulk order in 1 column just like this. I hope these were really helpful for you. Don't forget that you'll want to look at the profit summary when you're done. Make sure you feel good about those numbers. Then we can go ahead and we can export and we can order our flowers. When you enter your information in your profile, it's going to pop up here so that your vendor knows who your order is from. So make sure you populate that in your profile. So it's very straightforward. Then when you get your flowers in the week of the event, or the week of the holiday, or just for weekly orders, when you get your shipment in, you use this list to check off and make sure that your pricing matches what's on their invoice and that your quantities match what you're being charged for. So that way you can make sure that you're getting everything that you're paying for. And if you have any questions about that, please let me know. I hope y'all have a great day and talk to you soon. Reach out. Let me know what you think about EveryStem. I love hearing from you.